Well, there's a great deal to talk about in the report, so let's speak to the lead author, senior World Bank economist, Stephane Hallegatte. He joins me now from Washington, D.C. Stephane, thanks for joining us. Tell us first, if you will, about your research and how you came to the conclusion that there is such a clear link between climate change and extreme poverty.
So I think the big innovation of this report is really to start from poverty today and what poor people are telling us about what keep them in poverty or make them fall back in poverty when they have escaped. And asking them the question, they answer with everything you just mentioned: agriculture, health and disease, and natural disasters, and all of that will get worse. And that's what's the basis of our estimate of 100 million more people in extreme poverty by 2030.
So geographically, where are people most vulnerable?
So the two hotspots of this vulnerability are Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. And this is not a big surprise. First, there are regions that are already very hot. So when you get higher temperatures, it's even worse than in other regions. But it's also a place where people are very vulnerable because extreme poverty is high already. And it's also places where we don't have universal access to improved drinking water, sanitation, modern electricity, for instance. And most importantly, these people, especially the poorest, are not well protected with social protection and with health insurance. So all of that are really priorities in this region if we want to take these people out of their situation of vulnerability today.
So this report is obviously being released in the run-up to the Paris conference. What kind of impact do you hope a report like this will have?
Well, the first thing we want with this report is to remind everybody that if everybody's meeting in Paris for these big negotiations, not only to stop climate change, it's also because we have this objective for 2030 of eradicating extreme poverty, and climate change is in the way. So what we're trying to achieve with this negotiation is to find solutions to help poor people escape poverty in spite of climate change and the risks it creates. So this is really important, to take the climate change challenge and to reframe it as a development challenge, something that we need to make sure we can eradicate extreme poverty and to eradicate extreme poverty forever.
Stephane, quickly, what has to be done now to prevent the worst-case scenario from playing out?
So the strategy has to have like two legs. One is reducing emissions and to start reducing greenhouse gas emissions now because we need to stabilize climate change. The second leg is about vulnerability. And we need to do much more to take people out of extreme poverty by supporting development and inclusive development with everybody benefiting, and also creating these safety nets that people need to cope with shocks. Again, social protection can help farmers cope with a bad year. Health insurance help people deal with diarrhea and malaria. All of these are really policy priority because climate change impacts will be increasing over time, and we have this window of opportunity to provide people with the protection they need.
Okay, Stephane Hallegatte, thank you so much for joining us.